Okay, so welcome everyone. It is 7 o'clock. I'm sure more people will start to file in, but I wanted to get us started, and I wanted to welcome our guest teacher for today, Michelle Lotus McClatchie. She's a therapist. She's a spiritual counselor. She teaches meditation and mindfulness as well as an integration coach. And with over 20 years of experience, Michelle is committed to helping people awaken and find peace in their hearts and minds. And she's a guest teacher with the Flagstaff Insight Meditation Community, as well as being an internationally certified mindfulness teacher. She is the founder of Many Mindful Moments and co-founder of Sanctuary Bridge Transformations. She offers in-person and online sessions through her private practice in lovely Sedona, Arizona, and offers wellness retreats and intensives worldwide. So I want to welcome Michelle to Mission Dharma. And yes, I'm going to hand it over to you, my dear.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you for that introduction. It's lovely to be here. So you may have noticed Mary was using two names for me, Michelle and Lotus. And so my given name is Michelle McClatchie. And most people call me Lotus nowadays. So you're welcome to do that. And yeah, it's such a delight and honor to be here and to sit with all of you. And I thought I would just share a couple of housekeeping things. So I have two dogs, best dogs in the world, in my opinion. And they may be wandering around, and I have my fingers crossed that they will not bark during our session tonight, but I just want to give you advance notice. It could happen. So I have an array of TREATS on the table here in case they need a little coaxing in a good direction. So all right. And then the other little piece was it was pointed out to me that my glasses will have a glare on them if I have kind of a funny angle on the screen. So I'm going to try to have just the right angle. So the viewing experience is perfect. Which reminds me a little bit of the conversation that I had with Howie when he first invited me to come and do a talk. And I said to him, you know what, Howie, my talks are really different than yours. And he said, really? They're different than mine? And then he reminded me of the beauty of differences and how, fresh perspectives can be wonderful things. So, yeah, just honoring that. I know you guys have a tradition of opening up an opportunity for everyone's voices to be heard. And so why don't we go ahead and partake in that. If you want to unmute yourself and say hello and let us know where you are joining from. I'm guessing that people are here from far and wide away places. So I'm excited to hear.
Hi from Mary in Santa Barbara.
Hi from Evelyn, Noe Valley.
Katie, Mission.
Tony Costello, Rockport, Maine.
Wow. Catherine Cole Valley, San Francisco.
Maureen, Regina, Saskatchewan.
I'm Howie from San Francisco.
Mark from San Francisco. I'm here from near and small.
Gabby from Los Angeles.
Rebecca, San Francisco.
I'm Brian. I'm from Sacramento.
I'm Daryl from Lafayette.
I'm Nancy from Novato.
I am Kath from Victoria, BC, Canada.
I'm Jerry from Nashville. Big love to all.
Rowena from Los Altos.
Okay, wonderful. Well, thank you, everyone. And feel free to go ahead and mute your microphones again, please. Thank you. So before we begin the sit tonight, I thought I would just share a little bit about my my history with Howie, and maybe just begin with the most recent iteration when he asked me to come and do this talk with all of you. And I had the honor of sitting with him in person here in Arizona a few weeks ago. And I was doing my walking meditation and really deep in my own experience. And then I hear this. And I look around and there's Howie behind me going, come here. And he calls me over and explains to me that he's getting ready to celebrate his 70th birthday and going on a beautiful vacation across the ocean, and asked would I do this? Was I still interested? And I said yes. And then he said these 3 words to me that really just pierced my heart. He said, I trust you. And it was just so precious. You know, it was such a sweet moment. It's one of those ones that really stands out in memory because it represents so much, you know, and it went to a place in my heart where I didn't know what trust was as a child growing up. That wasn't something that was in my family system. And so, you know, it reminds me that Howie's he's kind of like a father to me, which you are hearing before he's ever heard. But I first met him about 10 years ago on my first meditation retreat. And it might have been longer than, I'm not quite sure the chronology of it, but I do know that it was a hugely transformational experience. And Howie has the kindness in his heart to travel to Arizona every year to facilitate these retreats. And so over time, he's watched me and my progression and regression and progression or whatever it is. And you know, he just has a way about him. For those of you who have been able to engage with him, I recognize maybe there's some people on the call here that might not know Howie, but those of you who do can really identify how he has this way of being able to engage with you in just 5 minutes time that make you feel like the most important person in the world. And the way that he can look at you with the deepest unconditional love. Like he sees beyond all the stories and all of the ideas of who we think we are and sees the beauty in our hearts. And he carries that into his interactions with other people. And it's such a precious gift, you know, it's such a precious gift. And he taught me that I could do that too for other people. And really all of us can, right? So that's a little bit of my background with Howie. And I thought as we shift gears and step into our meditation experience this evening, we might go ahead and just pause for a moment with a collective sending of a happy birthday wish to him. And so you're welcome to just bring him forward in your mind's eye and perhaps allow your eyelids to gently close. And even maybe bring to mind if there's been a moment in the years of time that you've spent with him where he's made an impact in your life in some way, and allow that to come forward in your consciousness. Perhaps it comes with a sense of some gratitude, appreciation. And perhaps it even comes with that energy of Dana, of wanting to give back, having received so much. And all of this in mind and in our hearts, bringing Howie forward and wishing him a happy birthday and a blessed and promising year to come, many years to come. And then breathing in that sensation of loving kindness and allowing it to permeate your being. As you settle into your meditative position, as you find your seat, allowing that to percolate and infuse your body. Settling into this moment. Finding your body, your sit bones, tuning in to this present moment. As we join together as a Sangha, regardless of our physical location, we are joined together in this moment. Sensing into each other's presence and sensing into our own presence. Bringing our innate loving awareness forward. and allowing the mind to rest. Perhaps letting your awareness dance across the sensations of your fingertips, where they are resting. Sensing into your toes. Arriving in this moment. And perhaps noticing if there might be a tone or an energy to the way that you observe yourself. Remembering the heart qualities of acceptance and non-judgment, kindness. So whatever arises, remembering to not make it wrong. Or if you do, to forgive that. And perhaps this evening, as we settle into our practice, we can consider the invitation to bring forward the benevolent, loving energy that we just sent to Howie. Maybe breathing in the memory of that. Knowing that he too would like you to receive those same sweet wishes. What would it be like to just rest in our own loving awareness? Softening the body, allowing the jaw to relax, bringing a sense of safety to this moment. Always remembering that we can return to our anchor as a place of refuge if we become lost, or to begin again. For some, that might be the breath as it flows in and out of the nose. For others, perhaps the hands resting in the lap or the soles of the feet on the floor. Let us rest now together. Come home to our natural state. One moment at a time. And just noticing where you are now, dear one. Perhaps the mind has wandered away, as it likes to do. You can just welcome it back. Welcome ourselves to this present moment. Be here now. Coming home to ourselves with kindness and care. And perhaps savoring these last moments of the sit. Noticing the preciousness of what is arising. The details of the moment. Okay, dear one. You're welcome to allow yourself to come back into your body, into the moment. Perhaps moving a little bit, and when you're ready, opening your eyes. Noticing what's here after your practice. Finding your breath. Finding a bow, perhaps. And so I'll just share with you, I had a couple interesting moments during this sit. My beloved children, the beloved dogs, found a cat here at my friend's house. And so in the background during the sit was this cacophony of entertainment. Perhaps you can relate to what that's like, how we can try to be grounded, firm in our practice when the chaos is happening all around us. Sometimes we do better than other times. But we can just keep showing up, right? Keep trying. So my understanding is this might be a good time for some announcements. And then when those are through, why don't we take just a quick 5-minute break and then return for the talk?
That sounds like a good idea, which I suggested. Well, thank you, Michelle, for that. Thanks very much. I want to make 2 announcements. The first one is about Donna, and I think I recognize most all of you, but if you're new here, Donna is it's a word that means a gratitude, and it's a reminder to share what you can for the benefit of all, and specifically, if you can, to make a donation to this Sangha, which basically helps the teachers because we're not paying rent lately. So in a good way, we can direct, I don't know, all or most all of everything that comes in to Michelle or to Howie or whoever is helping keep the Dharma flowing. So I put in the chat a way that you can send a donation to help us out. And I know oftentimes at the end of the session, I'm in another place and I just forget to do it. But hopefully, eventually I remember, and I hope you will too, or tie the proverbial string around your finger. So thank you in advance for that. And the second thing I want to mention, it's exciting to me, is that Howie is going to be doing another half-day event, and it's going to be at Fort Mason. And I think this is, I don't know, second or third one he's doing. I was there for one, and it was, it's same, only different. I mean, it's great doing this with everybody, but doing it in person is just wonderful. Being at Fort Mason in San Francisco's near the bay is just lovely. And it's going to be, and it's important to note that it's co-sponsored by the San Francisco Insight Dharma Center. The title is The Wings of Awakening, and it's going to be on Saturday, October 21st, between 9 and 1 p.m. And there's going to be some snacks, and you can come early and schmooze. But it's highly recommended if you can get here to San Francisco area, or if you live here already. I recommend it. This information is also on the email that you received. That's one way that you got here today. So just look there, or you can look on our chat. So hope I didn't talk too much, and enjoy the rest of the evening.
Thank you, Howie. Yeah, so according to my phone, it is 7:53 where I am. So why don't we try to reconvene at 7:58 and see how we do? Welcome back, everyone. So perhaps like me, you may have turned off your camera during the break. And if you feel brave, I'm actually going to ask folks to turn your cameras on. And I'll explain what I mean in a moment. But there's really something just very sweet and precious about being able to see each other. And everybody's in their jammies anyway, so it doesn't matter. You might recall when we first started the talk tonight, that moment of sending Howie our love, and my suggestion that we try to remember to send that type of love to ourselves. And I know love is kind of a loaded word sometimes, but just that kindness, right? And along with that, we get to send it to each other. And so, what I invite you to do now is to allow your gaze to rest on each person on the screen. Really look into their eyes and allow yourself to be seen with the same benevolent gaze that we offered to Howie. Notice what it feels like to see and be seen. How this connection can be more intimate, real, vulnerable when we consciously tune in this way. And sometimes when we focus on the teacher just as that single pointed view, but we're all teachers. We're all in this together. You're welcome to just relax into being here however you like. And just remembering that we're all just walking each other home, right? And there's something about being able to remember the interconnectedness of one another. Now, recently I was traveling. I had the opportunity to be away from my computer and phones and news. And so when I returned last night, it was the first time that I had actually heard about what's been happening in Israel and Palestine. And when I heard, I felt like this piercing pain, just this like sorrow about the suffering that's happening there. And there's something about the innocence of children and people who have nothing to do with the agendas that are being harmed. And when I initially realized I needed to talk about this tonight, I wasn't sure if I would be able to do it without crying. And so I might. It's really sad. It's really sad. And I know that many people are feeling that sadness right now, feeling that heartbreak. and also the powerlessness to do anything about it. And when I heard, I had this other flash of other tragedies that I've witnessed in my time. I remember when 9/11 happened, and the first of the many school shootings, the recent fires in Hawaii. There's so many tragedies happening. And it can be a challenge sometimes to keep our hearts open, to be able to stay compassionate and not be flooded or overwhelmed with our own sorrow. And then there's the idea that a forest fire, an earthquake, tsunami, that's nature. And it's like, okay, I can kind of wrap my brain around that. I can kind of understand that. But when it's this human caused suffering and violence, in a way, it's even harder to be able to take that in. And I remember hearing Howie talk years back, and he said something, and it was after there was a horrific killing spree that happened in Australia, and Howie said, you know, each and every one of us has that in us. Each and every one of us has greed, hatred, and delusion. These causes of war are a part of our human nature. And at the time, I was like, I would never do that. But you know what? I do have greed, hatred, and delusion in me, and I see it in my everyday life. I see it play out maybe in smaller ways, but they're there. And perhaps you can relate to this. Of, like, that's part of what brought us to the practice, right? Is that we struggled with these poisons in our own lives. And the dukkha, the suffering of that, caused us to reach to the light, to try to find our way. And I speak about this because it's so challenging to find a way to navigate the despair, to navigate the tragedy of it all, especially as we practice for a long time, we become more sensitive. And the heartache can feel unbearable. Or we can go the other direction and begin to have a sense of apathy, of just like, I can't even see it anymore. It's too much. And whatever path we choose is fine. But it helps me, especially in my career as a counselor, hearing about so many traumas, to be able to recognize this compassion fatigue, they call it, where it just becomes too much. And I spoke with one of my teachers, Brian Lesage, about this years ago. And he just shared a really practical point of view. Because there's this idea that I want to do something, I want to help. but how do I help? And maybe I can donate money to refugees, but I definitely can't solve all the problems, all the plastic in the ocean. There's just so much. And Brian said, it's okay. Pick one thing. Just pick one thing. Put your heart into that one thing. And you plug into the network of giving and receiving, of the Dharma, of recognizing the beautiful privilege of this life that we get to live and being able to share our gratitude for that by offering in some way to help another person, to help our planet, to help another being. And there's been so many great leaders who have pointed the way for how we deal with these situations in life. Martin Luther King said that darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. And the Dalai Lama said, do not let others' behaviors destroy your own inner peace. And so it's this dance of finding our equanimity, of being able to be in that middle way where we can stay open, where we can stay caring, and continue to enjoy this life. Continue to be in the present moment and bask in the beauty of a beautiful plant, the sparkle of the sunshine. If we can give ourselves permission to enjoy our life, even as the tragedies unfold. Another quote from the Dalai Lama that spoke to me today was that world peace must develop from inner peace. And peace is not just the absence of violence. Peace is the manifestation of human compassion. And that's another tool that I find helpful to me as I think about the people who are perpetrating these atrocities. I feel anger arise in this venom in my own mind about how can this be happening? How can children be trafficked all across the globe? How do these things exist? And then I remember that hurt people. And it all comes from that trauma. And it all comes from these poisons, which I understand because I have them in me. And when I understand, I can have compassion. And just like we're able to feel one another's metta, loving kindness as we gaze into each other's eyes, we have the capacity to send our loving kindness out into the world to these beings who are misguided and who are following a path that's just the path of ignorance, which I know for me, I've done plenty in my life in other ways. And so I think about Brian's advice about choosing one thing. And perhaps that one thing is sending our love out. I once actually had a vision when I was meditating. Don't often have visions, but there's a short spell where I had two very clear ones, um, and the one where someone was leading a loving kindness practice, and I suddenly saw this grid of light all around the earth, and it was connected in this sacred geometry kind of pattern, which I didn't understand what that was at the time, but I had this understanding at that moment that as I was sending my loving kindness to other people, I was plugging into this grid of people all around the world, simultaneously sending loving kindness. Someone in Australia, someone in Africa, someone in Germany, someone in South America. All the time that people are engaged in this practice, genuinely in the deepest part of their soul and their being, all day long, every single day, somebody is sending me, someone is sending you their loving kindness. And anytime that we feel alone, all we have to do is remember that that is happening. And there is something really powerful about that, about knowing that we can tap in to this universal flow of compassion and care with just the remembering that it exists. Rumi said that if light is in your heart, you will find your way home. And so, my wish in this evening is that our hearts actually do feel illuminated, and that we can remember that we have the capacity to feel everything, and we also have the capacity to choose. All I have to do is think of Hallie, and I instantly am like, oh, that's right. Just like that. And when I also think about, like, well, what can I do? There's the ancient practice of Tonglen, and from the Tibetan Buddhist tradition, where we're strong in our seat, strong in our practice, we have the ability to actually breathe in the pain of others and breathe out the relief of that pain. And what's beautiful about that practice is it's a healing for us. So we're offering a service for others, and we're also teaching ourselves how to break the habit of selfishness. We're teaching ourselves how to lean into pain instead of avoiding it, and how to transmute that. And so, as I close my share tonight, I had a really lighthearted share planned actually until I heard the news, and then I realized that we just needed to travel a different direction this evening. But I always like to think about how can I embody this practice in my day-to-day life? And I think about how sometimes I get this like, you know how they put those blinders on horses so that they don't get distracted? And um like tunnel vision. Like this is my world. Like I live in this way and it works this way. And sometimes we need to open our awareness and recognize like, oh, there's my neighbor. How are they doing? Have I said hello to them? Have I checked in with them? Or maybe we can invite someone over for dinner, offer some kind words. So we have the capacity to be able to share this loving kindness like we just experienced tonight with the people that are in our lives. And two, we also can just remember to guard our sense doors. So sometimes those blinders are good things. Like my unplugging for the last few days was really healthy for me. I was in nature. I was listening to the birds telling me what was really important about life. And, you know, there's something to guarding our sense doors and recognizing, like, okay, I can hear about the tragedies. I want to know what's happening in the world. I do care. And if I'm going to be strong in my seat so that I can support people in their pain, so that I can support myself in my journey, then I need to have that wise discernment about how much I take in, what am I consuming, and just remembering that self-care in our practice overall. So one of the interesting things that I experienced personally is last couple of years, I had a health crisis and I developed osteoarthritis and wasn't able to walk because my hips were no longer working properly and my spine. And I'm blessed with new hips. Hip, hip, hooray. But I learned something, and I learned that we can get really accustomed to living in a state of stress and not even realize that that's what's going on. But our body knows, and our body will eventually let us know. And so, just also an encouragement as I'm offering this self care kind of idea is really tuning in like, how am I doing? Really, how am I doing deeply, deep inside? And making that a priority. Kind of like when we're on the airplane and they say, put your oxygen mask on first before you go to help someone else, you know? It's like that. It's like, how can I fine tune my awareness so much that I know that this vessel, this only vessel that we have for this lifetime is really truly cared for. And in turn, then we have the ability to offer our care to the world as well. So I'm just kind of circling back around again to what I was sharing. Actually, I have I'll close with another share. And so you guys might remember that John Lennon song, Imagine all the people living life in peace. You. We get to do that, right? Let's do that. Let's imagine all the people living life in peace. May it be so. Thank you for your kind attention, everyone. We have a few minutes left. If anyone wants to share a comment or has a question, I'd love to hear. Hi
Well,
there, Mary.
Hi, I just wanted to thank you for coming tonight. I've lost something on the screen. I'm not sure what just happened. I can't see you anymore. I just have a lot of, okay. I'm not sure what
Well,
happened. Can you hear me okay?
I can. Yes, we can see and hear you, Mary. Mhm.
Okay, because I can't
Yeah.
see anyone. They're all white people, little round circles. I can only see like 3 people. I'm not sure what happened there. Anyway, I just want to thank you for subbing for Howie and also for addressing what's going on in the world today. Because I think, if you are, we do become more sensitive as we meditate, and it's always a balance between, being in the now, being in the present, being grateful for everything we have, and also feeling the suffering of the world, especially on days when there is tremendous suffering in the world. I think, anyone who is at all a sensitive person, feels that. It's very, very sad. It's very tragic. And so it's nice to not ignore that and to bring that up. So I think it was appropriate on both, covering both ends of the spectrum there to keep our balance about it for our own life and staying strong to do what we can, but also to be sensitive to the suffering of the world, because it is a sad time right now. So thank you very much. Thank you for coming, and enjoy your new hips. I may be getting a new knee.
Thankful for technology. Thank you, Mary. Mhm.
Good night. I get this back.
Sandra. Yes.
Did you mention my name, Sandra?
Yes. Hi, Sandra. Yes.
Oh, hi. Okay, hi. Well, I wanted to say that I experienced similar to what you were saying, like feeling powerless about what's going on in Israel, and then I just appreciate being validated that there's no small, I mean, every act is important, and how I was really discounting that, that, I really felt powerless, but yet I go, well, what can I do about it? And to actually acknowledge the things that I am doing about it. And that's a good reminder for me. So I appreciate that part of just, we can just do what's right in front of us or pick something, and that is that is important. And that it should not be underestimated. So yeah, thanks for that, and thanks for reminding me of that beautiful song, John.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Mhm. Yeah. 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 You never really know the difference that you're going to make.
Everybody, I just inadvertently muted Michelle. So Michelle, forgive me. The explanation is not worth the time, but if you could just open your mic again.
Ah. When I was a kid, my nickname for a spell was Mighty Motor Mouth, and I just got reminded of that. And that's okay, Howie. But I was just going to say, we never really know when we're going to make a difference in someone else's life. Like, I remember when I first had someone look me in the eyes, and a stranger look me in the eyes and ask me questions with a genuine curiosity and interest in knowing about me. And it was in that moment that I realized, oh, it's okay to talk to strangers. Oh, it's okay to make these kind of connections. It's okay to have my guard down and be open to other people. And so we just, you never really know the way that we can sprinkle this practice in the world. Thank you, Sandra. Yeah. Hmm. Hmm. Well, dear ones, if we don't have, do we have another, is that a hand up? No, okay, that's my cursor. Yeah. So if we don't have any other questions or comments, maybe I'll just close with a little loving kindness meditation before we wrap up for the night. And you're welcome to allow your eyes to gently close again and just notice what's here now after this exploration that we took together from having gazed into each other's eyes, touching on these challenging subjects, finding our breath, feeling into the preciousness of this moment, allowing our hearts to crack even wider open. As we send our care out into the world to all the beings who might be feeling lost, afraid, alone, and those who are perhaps held in a way where they don't feel their freedom, their well-being may not be met. Perhaps they're hungry, thirsty. May they feel the love that we are sending out to them in this moment. May they feel connected. May they see the magic of the sparkle of the rays of the sun. May they have the opportunity to savor the preciousness of the moment, to be able to share their own loving kindness with others. And may there be a great awakening to those who are caught in the greed and the hatred and delusion. May they receive the loving kindness such that they awaken and realize that generosity and kindness, compassion are the true source of the abundance that they seek. May all beings be free, be happy, and be peaceful. May we all be free.